Hello everyone, this is 8th lecture on income tax. In today's class, we are going to solve one more sum on capital gain. And the question is, Mandar had purchased a residential house for rupees 10 lakh in 2012-13. He sold this house for rupees 40 lakhs in 2019-20. He paid brokerage and legal charges amounting to rupees 25,000. The cost inflation index for 2012-13 is 200 and for the year 2019-20 is 289. Compute capital gain for the assessment year 2021. In this sum, you are asked to calculate the capital gain, but you are not told whether to find out long-term capital gain or short-term capital gain. To understand whether the sum is based on long-term capital gain or short-term capital gain, we have to find out the cut-off holding period and the holding period of the asset by Mr. Mandar. First, we should know what kind or what nature of asset Mr. Mandar is holding. So Mr. Mandar had held residential house. Residential house is non-financial asset. And the cut-off holding period for residential house or land and building is 24 months. So first we have to find whether Mandar is holding this residential house for more than 24 months or less than 24 months. With the given information, that is, Mandar had purchased a residential house in year 2012-13 and he has sold this house in year 1920. That means he was holding this residential house for more than 24 months. So if the assessee holds any capital asset for more than 24 months, that is residential house, then that asset is known as long-term capital asset, and whatever gain arises out of long-term capital asset is known as long-term capital gain. So one thing is clear, that is this sum is based on long-term capital asset and result will be either long-term capital gain or long-term capital loss. So let us start computing long-term capital gain of Mr. Mandar for the assessment year 2021. First we have to take full value of consideration. Full value of consideration is nothing but the value of sale of the capital asset. So this asset is sold by Mandar for rupees 40 lakh. So full value of consideration is 40 lakhs. From this we have to deduct brokerage charges. Brokerage charges are nothing but the expenses incurred while transferring the capital asset. So Mr. Mandar has paid brokerage charges while selling this asset. So brokerage charges, you are directly given amount here. If you are given it in percentage, you have to find it in percentage. Now as it is given directly, you can write down 25,000. He has paid brokerage charges of rupees 25,000. Now the remaining balance is 39,75,000. 39,75,000, which is known as net consideration. From net consideration, we have to deduct now indexed cost of acquisition less indexed cost of acquisition. as this sum is based on long term capital asset, we have to calculate indexed cost of acquisition. If the sum is based on short term capital asset, then we just have to deduct cost of acquisition. So as it is long term capital asset, we are deducting indexed cost of acquisition. In previous class, we have seen the format of computation of long term capital gain, as well as we have seen formulas of indexed cost of acquisition as well as indexed cost of improvement. So the formula to calculate indexed cost of acquisition is cost of acquisition into cost inflation index for the year of transfer divided by cost inflation index for the year of purchase or cost inflation of 2001-2, whichever is later. This option is not applicable for this sum because the capital asset is purchased after 2001-2. If the capital asset is purchased before 2001-2, then we have to take this, that is cost inflation index of 2001-2, whichever is later will be taken. Now let us find out indexed cost of acquisition of the residential house. First we have to take cost of acquisition. Cost of acquisition is nothing but cost of purchase. Mandar has purchased this residential house for rupees 10 lakh. So cost of acquisition will be 10 lakh rupees. Then into CII for the year of transfer, that is cost inflation index for the year of transfer. You are given in the sum cost inflation index for 2019-20 is 289. Mr. Mandar has sold this residential house in the year 1920. Therefore, the CII for the 1920 is taken, that is 289. And this is divided with cost inflation index for the year of purchase. This capital asset is purchased in the year 2012-13, and in the sum you are given cost inflation index for year 2012-13 is 200. Therefore we are taking value 200. 10 lakh into 289 divided by 200, we get value 14,45,000. So the indexed cost of acquisition of residential houses 14,45,000. Take down 14,45,000 is indexed cost of acquisition. If you are given cost of improvement also in the sum, you have to deduct indexed cost of improvement from net consideration. But in this sum, you are not given any information relating to cost of improvement, so we are going to ignore that point. Now the answer is known as gross long term capital gain. So when we deduct 14,45,000 from 39,75,000, the balance, that is 25,30,000, is known as gross long term capital gain. From gross long term capital gain, we have to deduct exemptions We are not given any exemptions in the sum, therefore it is nil. Therefore our final answer, that is net long term capital gain, is 25,30,000. Net long term capital gain is 25,30,000. I hope you have understood this sum. This is the first sum on long term capital gain.